Without question, the game of the year. Seattle takes the number 1 seed on an incredible comeback victory thanks to 4 two-point conversions. But hold up, weren't there only 3 two-point conversions in the game? Well, we're going to talk about that. All right, no need for a long-winded intro here. Let's get right into the film. We're going to start things off by moving all the way ahead to the fourth quarter, where Los Angeles would score with a touchdown pass to who else? Puka Nacua. And this would put LA up by a score of 29-14. Now, according to Ernest Jones, the Rams were laughing and congratulating themselves on the sideline, and almost without thinking, they kicked the extra point. And when they did that, I kind of sat up in my chair, and I felt like Bruce Pandolfini in Searching for Bobby Fischer when he says that was a mistake. Why do I say that? Well, they're up 2 scores in the fourth quarter before kicking the extra point, right? They're up 29-14. That's 15 points. There's really no difference between being up 15 points and kicking the extra point and going up 16 points, because either way, it's still a 2-score game. What the Rams needed to do here was go for 2 to go up by 17 points, making it a 3-score game. If they don't get it, they're still up 2 scores. There's no downside to going for 2, but if they go for 2 and get it, that might put the game out of reach. Well, they kicked the extra point. It's still a 2-score game, and immediately I said, this game's not over. Seattle is still in this. Now, I think it's okay to acknowledge that there were times during this game when maybe Seattle wasn't having the best day. You know, it was, of course, Thursday Night Football, and they're playing against a juggernaut, but one area where they completely outclassed the Rams was on special teams. In fact, Seattle has the number 1 special teams unit in the NFL, and they jump right back into this game with a big punt return for a touchdown by Shaheed. And Seattle immediately exploits LA's mistake in kicking the extra point by going for 2 here. They are going to try to tie this game up with a couple of scores, just like we talked about. And the way they do this is they line up Cooper Kupp right behind Jackson Smith-Njigba. What a combination that is. And JSN is just going to run almost like a pick play. He's just going to run into these 2 defenders to open up Cooper Kupp underneath. Now, is this legal? Is this allowed? Well, it is, as long as JSN is just running his route. It can be a little tricky to execute, but Jackson Smith-Njigba is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He executes it to perfection, and that opens up Cooper Kupp underneath, and Sam Darnold gets him the football, and now the Seahawks are only down by 8, not 9, 8, a 1-score game. Now, before we move on, we're going to go back to the first quarter and take a look at one of Seattle's first plays that they ran. And specifically, we're going to be taking a look at Cooper Kupp, and we see how tight he is lined up. He almost looks like a tight end here. Now, this was the big screen pass to Ken Walker, and on the other side of the field, Cooper Kupp is running away from the screen, taking the defense with him and opening up the other side of the field for Ken Walker to have a huge gain, setting Seattle up for their first score. Well, fast forwarding back to the fourth quarter again, with Seattle needing another score to tie up this ball game, Clint Kubiak dials up this absolute masterpiece here. This time he changes the personnel package a little bit, so now they have an actual tight end lined up tight to the line of scrimmage. It's A.J. Barner. They run the same play, but they flip it, so now the screen is to the other side. And once again, we see the tight end heading deep, but instead of running away from the screen, this time he runs to the same side that the screen is on, and this completely bamboozles the defense. They are expecting this play to go the other way, and Barner is wide open for a touchdown. Now, of course, Seattle must have another successful 2-point try to tie up this game, and what follows is one of the most bizarre plays I can ever remember seeing. Seattle is going to try to get the ball to Zach Charbonnet with people blocking in front of him on the wide receiver screen. Now, is this legal? Are they allowed to block while the ball is in the air like this? Yeah, as long as they're within 1 yard of the original line of scrimmage, which they definitely are. But the pass gets deflected and falls incomplete. At the end, we see Charbonnet pick this football up. From this angle, we get a look at where this football is deflected, but this ball, upon further review, was not traveling forward. Instead, it was traveling backwards, ever so slightly, but slightly backwards is still backwards. So it is not a forward pass, it is a lateral, and a lateral is a live football. Charbonnet goes and picks it up, and by rule, that is a clear recovery by the offense in the end zone for a successful 2-point try. Wow. Just like that, the game is tied at 30 apiece. They're not down 30-31. It's 30-30. McVay was complaining that, they were getting ready to line up and kick the football, and then all of a sudden they reviewed it and changed the score. Well, yeah, we know that's how replay works. They review it before the next play is run, and then they make the change. LA has no one to blame but themselves. Now, they would get in position to kick what could have been a game-winning field goal with about 2 minutes to go in the game, but once again, special teams rears its ugly head for the Rams, and the kick is no good. So this game would head into overtime. Puka Nacua is not exactly making a lot of friends right now, but he can sure get it done on the football field. Over 200 yards receiving in this game and a big-time touchdown in the overtime period. Now, LA would kick the extra point, and here I think it makes sense to do that. That puts them up 7 points now, 37-30. Seattle must at least match that score. Sam Darnold had some shaky moments in this game, but here, in the overtime period, when it mattered the most, he was clutch. Avoids the sack from Kobe Turner and then gets the ball to JSN on the sideline for a big gain. Wow, great throw, great catch. Darnold would follow this up with another clutch throw a few plays later. LA knows they can win the game if they can prevent Seattle from scoring a touchdown. So they put 2 safeties back deep. And that's a good idea because take a look at the route of Cooper Kupp. It sure looks like he's heading for the end zone. They don't want to get beat for a long touchdown, so they have no choice but to give him some space, and that allows Kupp to cut to the sideline. Darnold stands in the pocket, takes the hit, and delivers the football, and it's a great catch by Cooper Kupp. A huge play. With Seattle threatening, things are getting desperate for LA, so they send a blitz with Omar Speights coming on the green dog, and this leaves the middle of the field vulnerable to the best receiver in football, Jackson Smith-Njigba. And Darnold delivers again, touchdown Seahawks, and with just 3 minutes to go in the overtime period, there's really no question about doing anything else. There's no time for anything else. Seattle is going to have to win this game by successfully completing their third 2-point conversion of the game. Let's take a look. What follows is nothing short of greatness. It was a great play design by the coaches, a great use of personnel, and great execution by the players. Now, what do I mean when I say all that? All right, it's a great play design because first of all, you can't give up a sack on this play, right? Otherwise, the game is over, the Rams win, and things are very unfortunate. So they leave a tight end in to help with pass protection. He's going to chip and then head out for a pass route. So as long as Sam Darnold goes through his progressions, he will open up at the right time. So it's just a great play design all around. Now, it's not just any tight end. There's a lot of tight ends on this Seattle roster. That's the veteran Eric Sauber, and this is why I say it's a great use of personnel. Here at a critical time of the game, they choose to lean on the veteran, someone with experience. I think it was a great call having Sauber in the formation here. And finally, of course, it's great execution by the players. Darnold does have to go through those reads, so let's go through them with him. He starts off taking a look to his right, doesn't like what he sees. So he resets his feet, comes to the middle. Obviously, there's nothing there, so he resets again and sees Eric Saubert open. The third 2-point conversion is the final nail in the coffin for the Rams. What an unbelievable, incredible comeback by the Seattle Seahawks, and for Sam Darnold to be so calm and patient in the pocket at such a critical moment in the game, in the season, and his career is nothing short of impressive. Wow, what an unbelievable game. And look, if Sean McVay had gone for 2 earlier in the game, we can't say that for sure the Rams would have won. The Seattle Seahawks very easily could still have won this game. The point is, the NFL is ruthless, right? The Seattle Seahawks are a very good team. In the NFL, you need to be precise. You need precision. Sean McVay was not precise. He left the door open, and you can't leave the door open for a team as good as the Seattle Seahawks, and Seattle made him pay. Wow, what an unbelievable game that was. You know, several of my friends had the privilege of being in attendance at that game. What must that have been like to be there, to be in that atmosphere behind that incredible come-from-behind victory? It's just absolutely unreal. All right, folks, this channel is supported by people just like you. So if you have signed up for the Patreon page, I can't thank you enough. Your support allows me to take the time to do these videos right and give you the quality that you deserve. Thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, I truly mean it. You humble me and you honor me. Thank you so much. Okay, the Seattle Seahawks are going to take a well-deserved rest after that game. They get 10 days before they have to play another potential playoff team, the Carolina Panthers in Carolina. That's going to be an interesting game. I like Seattle in that one. I don't know what's going to happen in that game, but you know, we're going to be here to break down the film, and I will see you guys then.